Unlock the hidden power of quantum manifestation to revitalize your energetic flow. I never expected a single dream to change everything. My life was a haze of ordinary days, like flipping pages in a book I wasn't sure I wanted to read anymore. Nights slithered by in silence, leaving me restless, tossing and turning in a bed too big for my loneliness. It all began with a spark, a flicker of something unseen. On an ordinary Tuesday, I woke with a jolt, heart racing, an image burned into my mind. In my dream, I stood at the edge of a cliff, a vast ocean swirling beneath me, and the sky glowing with electric hues of violet and gold. The air hummed with energy, whispering secrets I couldn't grasp. I felt it in my bones, the potential I had buried under layers of doubt. What was this dream trying to tell me? The sun peeked through my window, bathing the room in a warm light, but the shadows lingered. My mind was a cage of questions. I needed answers. I needed change, that I found solace in nature, where the birds sang songs of hope. The rustle of leaves carried my thoughts aloft, but even the beauty around me felt tinged with mystery. I meditated by the lake, the surface shimmering like liquid glass. I searched for signs, feeling the energy shift with every breath. I closed my eyes, focusing on the rhythm of my heart, hoping for clarity amid the chaos. Would I find it? Moments slipped away, stretching into eternity. With each passing day, I found myself drawn back to the cliff from my dream. What if it was more than just a figment of my imagination? I felt a pull, like the tide drawing me in, whispering promises of power just beyond my reach. Why was I afraid to leap into the unknown? Friends noticed the shift in me, their curious glances filled with unspoken concern. "You seem different," they said, but how could I explain? Anguish bubbled beneath the surface, and I felt that familiar tightness in my chest, a chasm of fear mixed with hope. I yearned for answers that stayed stubbornly elusive. As the sun set that evening, a sudden chill swept through the air. The sky transformed into a canvas of vibrant hues, and in that fleeting moment, I caught a glimpse of something. A figure on the cliff stark against the sunset, an echo of my dream. A rush of energy surged within me, and I stood entranced, heart racing, breaths shallow and quick. What awaited me at the edge of that cliff? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. The next morning, I awoke with an unsettling mix of excitement and trepidation. The vision of the figure on the cliff lingered like a sweet, haunting melody in my mind. What was the significance of this apparition? Was it a ghost of my former self or a guide leading me to a dormant truth? Despite my questioning, an undeniable force compelled me to return to the cliff, convinced that the answer awaited me. As I ventured through the winding path flanked by wildflowers that danced in the sunlight, I felt a shift in the atmosphere around me. It was as though the universe was humming in response to my intentions, crafting a symphony of synchronicities. Each step sent tremors of understanding through my being. Something ancient and powerful was awakening within. When I reached the precipice, the vista opened before me, infinite shades of blue stretching into the horizon, crashing waves accompanied by a primal roar. But it wasn't merely the beauty of the scene that struck me, it was the electric charge in the air. I closed my eyes and allowed the wind to envelop me, inhaling deeply as though I were drawing in the essence of the ocean itself. Then, a voice soft yet thunderous broke the silence. "What do you seek?" It seemed to echo not just from the cliffs, but from the very ocean, as if the deep was stirring with secrets waiting to be unveiled. I hesitated, words caught somewhere between my heart and my throat. Seeking grounding in reality, I replied internally. Clarity. Purpose. Authentic power. At that moment, I opened my eyes, and the figure reappeared, cloaked in shadows and light. It reached towards me, its features indistinct yet familiar. "You have already begun your journey," it whispered, "but many paths lie ahead. You must discern which resonate with your true self." The figure turned and began to walk along the edge, glancing back as if inviting me to follow. The trepidation in my heart began to morph into curiosity. What would I learn on this path of introspection and exploration? Each step felt like an initiation into a deeper layer of my consciousness that I followed cautiously, the earth crumbling beneath my feet, yet the thrill of the discovery urged me onward. We traversed a series of winding routes adorned with stones that glimmered with energy, almost alive in the midday sun. Every stone seemed to whisper fragments of wisdom echoing through the ages. Let go. Embrace the chaos. Trust in the ebb and flow. As I absorbed these teachings, my surroundings began to shift. The landscape morphed between realms, glimmers of light and shadows danced, merging the mundane with the mystical. I saw visions of my past, moments of triumph etched against the backdrop of struggle, the kaleidoscopic essence of my choices forming patterns that danced across the horizon. I felt tears emerge, the weight of my history pressed against the lightness of this epiphany. The figure turned at the edge of another cliff, overlooking a breathtaking chasm filled with radiant orbs of energy suspended midair. They pulsed with vibrant hues, a cosmic representation of potential yet unrealized. "This is your essence," the figure gestured. "Each orb represents the dreams you have awakened, the desires yearning for manifestation. Are they mine to claim?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper, awe coursing through me. "Only if you dare to reach," it replied cryptically, its form becoming less corporeal, fading into the warmth of the shimmering lights. A realization washed over me. The orbs were not just reflections of my aspirations, they were the essence of my being, the untapped energy tethered to me through my thoughts and intentions. Suddenly, the sensations of fear and doubt surged within me, the haunting question echoing louder than before: what if I'm not worthy of this power? In that moment of silence, I closed my eyes again, grounding myself. What if my worth was not dictated by past experiences, nor by fear of stepping into the vast unknown? Perhaps true worthiness awaited beyond the act of manifestation. Perhaps it lay in the acknowledgement of my journey. In each leap, each fall, every breath taken on that narrow path to authenticity. As I opened my eyes, the figure was gone, leaving only the shimmering orbs dancing in front of me. With a newfound determination, I approached one of the luminous spheres, my heart racing with the realization that I stood at the threshold of a choice: what awaited me if I stepped forward? The quest for clarity was far from over, new uncertainties emerged like birds taking flight. How do I harness this newfound energy without fear? What would it mean to manifest my true essence into reality? Those questions hung in the air, swimming like the waves below, vast, mysterious, and full of promise. As the gentle breeze tugged at my clothes, I stood mesmerized by the orbs of radiance, hesitant yet enchanted. Each sphere pulsed with life, resonating with the unspoken dreams that lay dormant within me. The moment felt both ethereal and tangible, a dance between potential and apprehension. The echoes of the figure's teachings lingered like a soft chant in my heart: let go. Embrace the chaos. Trust in the ebb and flow. In the stillness of my contemplation, I noticed a pulse among the orbs that transcended individual hues. It was as if a collective consciousness stirred beneath the surface, a whispering melody inviting me to listen. I leaned closer, allowing myself to enter a state of receptivity. As I did, an image flashed before me. I found myself standing before a mirror reflecting not just my visage, but the intricate web of my desires entwined with the fears that had held me back. Staring into that reflection, I felt vulnerable yet empowered, confronted not just by who I had been, but by who I could become. Strands of courage intertwined with threads of uncertainty, the tapestry of my soul began to reveal itself. Suddenly, an electric charge shot through me as one orb burst forth, its essence swirling around me like a vibrant cocoon of light. It whispered my name, a symphony of potential and possibility vibrating against my very core. My heart raced as the orb engulfed me, resonating with a frequency I had never encountered. Awaken, dreamer, it called, a soothing yet commanding presence that filled the air with a rich tapestry of warmth and illumination. What you seek is within reach, but you must first dismantle the barriers of doubt. the energy enveloped me, connecting past and future, weaving together my essence with the untapped dimensions of manifestation. I could feel the essence of each orb whisper secrets to me, igniting visions of creations waiting to unfurl in the world, words unwritten, melodies unsung, passions unchaste. But as ecstasy threatened to overwhelm me, the voice of doubt slithered in. "Who do you think you are?" it hissed, its tone dripping with the weight of my hesitations. "An imposter treading paths that lead to nowhere. Will you dare to risk disappointment again?" Ignoring the knot of fear tightening in my stomach, I steadied my breath, channeling the energy of the orb within me. I began to visualize the barriers that held me captive, the restrictive walls built from self-doubt and fear of judgment. Each doubt that had ever plagued me took form as a shadowy figure, whispering lies of unworthiness. But as I concentrated, I felt the vibrational pulse of the orb pushing against those shadows, illuminating the recesses of my fears with golden light. "Your fears are stories you have outgrown," the orb sang softly, "let them dissolve, release them into the embrace of the cosmos." With that understanding, I wandered toward another orb, a deeper blue that thrummed with rich, melodic vibrations. I reached out, fingers brushing against its surface. In that moment, visions cascaded through my mind, moments of joy, laughter shared with loved ones, and instances of profound love where I felt deeply connected to the universe. Each memory echoed the truth of my existence. I was not simply the sum of my flaws but a constellation of light waiting to be recognized. Suddenly, I was transported back to the cliff's edge, the majesty of the ocean crashing below me, powerful and fierce. The swirling energy within me seemed to call out to the tides, beckoning them to cooperate with the rhythmic dance of creation. I saw my essence reflected in the waves, and a stirring realization hit me. Manifestation was not just about claiming what I wished, but also about surrendering to the natural flow of life, to trust that the universe was inherently supportive of my journey. With each breath, I felt infinitesimal layers of fear peel away, revealing a raw core of possibility. I stood on the edge, heart racing, mind alight with clarity. "I am not just a seeker," I murmured. "I am a creator of my own reality." The moment was electric, yet uncertainty loomed. What did it mean to step fully into my power? Would others accept this new version of me? The lingering questions hung heavy like mist over the ocean, veiling potential from view. Before the moment could dissolve into doubt, a shimmer of light danced across my vision, drawing my attention to the embrace of the radiant orbs once again. They flickered like stars in a night sky, and I realized their interplay was a manifestation of something greater than myself. Each one represented a choice, a story waiting to unfold. As I contemplated the next step in my journey, new queries emerged. How can I harness the collective energy of creation and transform it into action? What would it feel like to allow the universe to guide me rather than forcing my will upon it? Standing at this crossroad, I pondered the vastness of potential that lay before me, vast and shattering yet altogether captivating. I took a deep breath, heart aligned with intention, feeling the pulse of the cosmos beneath my feet. In the embrace of uncertainty, I stepped forward into the light, ready to discover what awaited me on this wondrous path of manifestation. The energy pulsed around me like a living entity, vibrant and wild. As I stepped into the circle of luminous orbs, I felt something shift in the air. The wind tangled my thoughts with whispers of possibilities, pulling me deeper into contemplation. It occurred to me that this mystical realm was not merely a reflection of my inner self, but a gateway to a deeper understanding of existence itself. I closed my eyes, surrendering my thoughts to the rhythm of the cosmos. Each breath became a note in a melodious symphony, urging my heart to synchronize with the beat of the universe. As I listened, the orbs swirled around me, their dance guiding me toward a greater truth. The vibrant colors melded into each other, portraying an exquisite tapestry of stories rich with struggle, joy, loss, and redemption. In this kaleidoscope of existence, a particular orb, glowing in a luminous green hue, caught my attention. It stood apart from the others, beckoning me to approach. With both trepidation and curiosity, I reached out once again. The moment my fingers connected with its surface, an electric jolt surged through me, igniting memories buried deep within. I was transported to a serene forest where sunlight filtered through the leaves, casting playful shadows on the ground. The scent of damp earth and wildflowers enveloped me like a long-lost friend. In this sanctuary, I saw glimpses of my past, my childhood self, innocent and full of wonder, exploring every nook and cranny with unabashed curiosity. I remembered the days spent crafting stories from thin air, the imaginative dreams that seemed woven from stardust, but then, as if veils were lifted, I witnessed the moments that dimmed my sparkle. The harsh words of a schoolmate, the critical gaze of a family member, the heavy burden of expectation. Each painful recall felt like a weight added to my spirit, a layer of protection fashioned from fear. Yet, as I stood there, the vibrant green orb wrapped around me, shushing the anxiety that threatened to rise. Revisit the child within, it whispered soothingly. In her, exists the wellspring of your creativity, untouched by the world's judgments. With this invitation, I allowed the orb's energy to envelop me completely. I sank into a state of pure presence, opening my heart to the flood of emotions streaming forth. Laughter bubbled up within, and tears cascaded down my cheeks, each one a testament to the bittersweet tapestry of life that I watched as the memories twisted and turned, merging into a beautiful mosaic of growth. I began to understand that my journey wasn't just about overcoming doubt but also about embracing the fullness of my experiences, both joyful and painful. Each moment had shaped me, teaching me resilience, compassion, and the innate beauty of being human. Suddenly, I felt the forest around me begin to morph, shifting into another vivid landscape. This time, I stood at the top of a hill overlooking a vast ocean, mirroring the turbulent waves of human emotion. What if, I pondered aloud, every emotion I felt was a ripple in this ocean of manifestation, feeding into the powerful currents of my existence? The green orb shimmered in response, prompting me to explore this thought further. I imagined the challenges that lay ahead and suddenly saw them not as obstacles, but as opportunities, pathways to deeper understanding. As I embraced the ebb and flow of my emotions, I envisioned an expansive web connecting me to others, vibrating with shared experiences, hopes, and dreams. What does this interconnectedness mean for my journey? I whispered into the wind, seeking guidance. In that moment, a sense of clarity washed over me. I realized that to truly honor my creative self, I must also recognize the vibrations of those around me. Each individual I encountered held pieces of the same cosmic puzzle, and every interaction was an opportunity for profound connection. I began to feel the limitless potential that lay in collaboration, the divine synchronicity that emerges when hearts unite. Yet, as I embraced this revelation, a flicker of uncertainty returned. Would I have the courage to leave behind the comfort of solitude and seek out these connections? Could I open myself to the vulnerability of working alongside others in pursuit of shared aspirations? The green orb pulsed affirmatively, as if to affirm my doubts were merely whispers of old narratives. Trust, it seemed to say, would be my greatest ally in this uncharted territory. With renewed determination, I stood and took a deep breath, feeling the vibrations of all the stories intertwined around me. I could feel the pulse of the universe, urging me to step forward, to engage in the dance of life's grand creation, a communion of souls striving for authenticity and creativity. As the orbs radiated their light, I conjured the image of an artist's palette filled with every color imaginable. I longed to mix my hues with those of others, crafting a masterpiece that bore witness to our collective experiences. But amid this blossoming vision of collaboration, a question lingered in the recesses of my mind. What bridges would I need to build to create these connections? How could I harness the vibrant energies surrounding me without losing the essence of who I am? The universe echoed my silent inquiries, wrapping them in the comforting embrace of potential. In this dance of exploration, I recognized that my journey was far from over. Each step led me closer to unlocking the hidden power of manifestation, urging me to walk boldly into the unknown while holding space for the dreams that awaited. With the orbs illuminating my path ahead, I prepared to venture forth into this uncharted territory, where the colors of my soul could merge with the vibrancy of the world, crafting not just a reality of my choosing but a symphony of collective creation. As the luminous orbs began to dissolve into the swirling twilight, I felt an inexplicable pull towards a deeper convergence of energies. There was an uncanny tranquility amidst the chaos as I stepped forward, drawn by a beckoning force that whispered not in words but in feelings, an invitation to embrace the next chapter of my cosmic journey. Navigating through the soft currents of light, I found myself in a vast landscape that morphed seamlessly into a gentle meadow dappled with vibrant flowers. Each blossom seemed to pulse with its own frequency, harmonizing with the rhythm of my heartbeat. Time stretched in this enchanted field, every moment an intoxicating blend of joy and contemplation. Kneeling to inspect a cluster of blossoms, I noticed that they were not merely flowers but reflections of emotions: joy, sorrow, love, and fear all intertwining, creating a tapestry of life. I marveled at how the petals caught the light, wavering gently in the breeze, as though they were breathing in unison with me. In this vibrational symphony, I recognized the intricate interconnectedness of all that surrounded me. Instinctively drawn to a nearby tree, its gnarled roots sprawling across the ground, I placed my palm against its bark. To my astonishment, the memories of others began to unfurl within me. I felt the echoes of laughter shared beneath its canopy, the tears shed during heart-wrenching farewells, and the dreams whispered among friends under starlit skies. The tree was alive with stories, a witness to the unfolding of countless destinies. What can I learn from the tales of those who walked before me? I pondered, hoping to unlock the wisdom hidden in the resonance of this sacred space. As if in response, the air around me thickened with a shimmering mist, and from within it emerged a figure clothed in robes woven from strands of cosmic light. It was both ancient and youthful, a paradoxical blend of wisdom and exuberance. Their presence filled me with an enveloping warmth, and as they approached, I was struck by their eyes that shimmered with a depth rivaling the stars. "Seek not just the answers but the questions," they said, their voice a melodious echo that felt familiar yet foreign. "The universe revels in curiosity, and it is in the asking that you will find gateways to explore. Each question is a key, unlocking the chambers of your heart and mind." I felt a burgeoning desire to dig deeper, to unearth layers of self that had yet to be discovered. What questions should I be asking? I ventured cautiously, unsure of the path laid before me. "The essence of the journey lies within the paradox," they replied, a knowing smile gracing their lips. "What does it mean to create? What does love demand of you? In what ways do you unconsciously limit your exploration of the infinite? Each inquiry paves the way for manifestation." As their words lingered in the air, I began to understand the power held within purposefully posed questions. The realization washed over me, igniting a fire in my spirit. In asking, I would illuminate my path, break down barriers of doubt, and venture into realms previously left unexplored. With each inquiry, I envisioned the cosmic web surrounding me expanding, connecting not only with those who had shared in its essence but with possibilities yet to emerge. I felt the hope of communities waiting to birth their visions, the beauty of co-creation weaving intricate patterns across the tapestry of the universe. Yet, despite this burgeoning energy, a flicker of hesitation stirred within. Was I prepared for the responsibility of creating alongside others? Would I have the strength to embrace vulnerability and the humility to learn from those whose journeys were intertwined with mine? The figures seemed to sense my inner turmoil, a gleam of compassion in their eyes. "You are never alone. Each question you ask reverberates through the fabric of existence, inviting new energies to support you. Trust in the process, trust in yourself." And as their image began to dissolve into the ethereal mist, I resolved to carry their wisdom with me. I took a deep breath, anchoring myself in the fertile ground of the meadow, promising to explore the questions that arose, each one a nascent star, begging to be birthed into existence through my intention and action. With renewed vigor, I stood at the crossroads of inquiry, craving a deeper understanding not just of my own creative essence but of how to weave it together with the vibrant threads of life around me. What new realms could be accessed through the embrace of courageous questions? And how might my journey towards manifestation intertwine with those of others on this vast stage of interconnected souls? As the colors of the meadow swirled around me, laced with the energy of countless possibilities, I set forth, ready to delve into the heart of inquiry that would illuminate my path. I carried with me the essence of the forgotten child, the interconnected spirit, and the wisdom bestowed upon me, beckoning me to continue lighting the way toward uncharted territories of creation. Venturing deeper into the meadow, I felt a magnetic force guiding me toward an undulating hill crowned with an ancient stone circle. Each stone radiated an otherworldly glow, pulsating softly like the heart of the earth itself. As I approached, the energy intensified, teasing the edges of my awareness, inviting me to step forward and engage with the age-old wisdom contained within the circle. That I placed my hands upon the cool surface of the nearest stone, and in an explosion of energy, visions unfurled within me. I was transported to scenes of ancestral rites, gatherings of souls chanting under the cover of night, forging connections through shared intentions and dreams. The echoes of their voices painted a vivid tapestry of their hopes, fears, and wisdom, reverberating through time like ripples in a pond. That I closed my eyes, allowing the sensations to wash over me. Each pulse from the stones felt like a reminder of the latent power residing within all beings. They had once served as conduits, channels through which life force and energy flowed freely. How did they harness this connection? I wondered, yearning to uncover their secrets. With this inquiry blossoming in my heart, I opened my eyes to find a shimmering entity emerging from the center of the stone circle. It resembled a luminous figure composed of myriad colors, shimmering with thoughts and emotions that danced through the air. Its presence caused the atmosphere to shift, and I felt an immense sense of awakening deep within. "You seek the forgotten ways," it said, its voice resonating harmoniously within me. "In understanding the flow of energy, you tap into your potential for quantum manifestation. You are not separate from the cosmos, you are a vital thread in the grand design." Intrigued, I leaned in closer. But how does one truly harness this essence? How can I align with the energies around me to create the life I envision? The luminous being swirled gracefully before me, weaving through the air like a conductor of a celestial orchestra. To manifest, one must first attune to the vibrations within and without, to recognize the quantum dance at play. Each thought is a ripple that sends vibrations through the universe, every intention is a wave that propels you closer to your creation. I felt a surge of energy pulse within me, igniting curiosity about my own inner landscape. Was I sending out the right vibrations? Were my intentions pure and aligned with my higher self? Each question I posed resonated with the truth of my journey, lighting pathways toward deeper understanding. Remember, the being continued, the dance is both external and internal. Nourish your spirit, listen to the whispers of your heart, and articulate your desires with clarity. As you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you create space for others to join in the symphony of manifestation. With that, the entity gestured toward the stone circle. I felt my own energy intertwining with the vibrations emanating from the stones, allowing the depths of my inquiry to pulse through the air. I envisioned a field of interconnected souls, their dreams merging and diverging, creating an intricate tapestry of shared experiences. As I embraced this vision, I began to compose an inquiry not only for myself but also for the community woven into the very fabric of existence. What if our collective intentions could cascade into a shared reality? How might we weave our dreams together to create a brighter future? In the wake of this thought, I felt a powerful connection to the tapestry of life. I was no longer just an individual spirit, but part of an expansive cosmic family, woven together through shared experiences, dreams, and explorations. The beauty of this realization blossomed deep within me, filling me with excitement and possibility, yet, amidst the joy sparked by this newfound recognition, uncertainty crept in once more. Would I have the courage to expose my innermost dreams for others to witness? Would I risk vulnerability in pursuit of a collective vision, as the luminous being began to dissolve back into the ether? I received one last whisper: in every uncertain moment lies the seed of potential. Trust and open your heart. For even in the resonance of doubt, the universe conspired to illuminate your path. With their words echoing in my mind, I knelt among the stones, feeling rooted in this sacred space. I realized my inquiries were far from answered, they had only begun to unfold like the petals of a flower. As I took a deep breath, I felt the interconnectedness of my journey and the journeys of countless others. What possibilities lay ahead as I ventured forth with newfound clarity and intention? How could I navigate the delicate balance of individual aspirations and collective visions? The horizon of inquiry beckoned me with its tantalizing mysteries, each question whispering promises of discovery and growth. The air around the stone circle began to shimmer, and as I stood, a sensation of being on the edge of a precipice washed over me. The soft glow of the stones seemed to pulse in harmony with my heartbeat, igniting a deep-seated yearning inside me to explore this newfound reality. With a gentle breeze tousling my hair, I felt compelled to return to the meadow, seeking further connections and insights. Stepping away from the circle, I trod softly across the grassy expanse, the earth beneath me alive with the currents of energy flowing just below the surface. Each blade of grass appeared to sway in rhythm with my thoughts, as though they were communing with the very essence of my spirit. My mind echoed with the words of the luminous being, "Nourish your spirit." What did this truly mean in a practical sense? Emerging from the meadow's embrace, I ventured into a nearby grove, where sunlight filtered through the leaves, creating patterns on the forest floor. Enchanted by the shift in environment, I was drawn to the resonant sound of water nearby. Following the melodies of the gentle brook, I found a small waterfall cascading over smooth stones, its waters glistening like liquid diamonds. As I knelt by the water's edge, I noticed something stirring within me, an urge to release and cleanse. I submersed my hands into the cool water, letting it flow over me, almost as if it were washing away the hesitations and doubts that clung to my spirit. In this moment, I felt the divinity of nature speaking to me, inspiring a deeper introspection. What stories did the water hold? What journeys had it taken before meeting me here? I glanced into the currents, watching the scattered light dance upon the surface, and saw reflections of my own struggles, hopes, and dreams swirling within. A flowing river of manifestation, I mused, the key lies in the surrender to its movement. In a moment of clarity, I spoke my intentions aloud to the stream. I listened to the whispers of my heart and dared to dream openly. Guide me towards the manifestations that align with my soul's purpose. The water responded, gurgling playfully as if affirming my desires. I felt a deep sense of belonging in this communion, recognizing that I was a vessel for creation, not merely a passive observer. Suddenly, a flicker of movement caught my eye. A small creaturian iridescent dragonfly hovered nearby, its wings shimmering like stained glass in the sunlight. It landed delicately on a nearby leaf, its body evident of transformation. At that moment, I remembered the luminescent being's words about vulnerability leading to a symphony of manifestation. The dragonfly embodied this truth, a symbol of metamorphosis and change. As I watched this creature, a realization dawned. The courage to dream requires an acceptance of the unknown, an embrace of transformation, and the willingness to step into the light, even when the path is obscured. Similarly, the dragonfly is never tied to one moment. It dances between worlds, embodying freedom and grace, reminding me that every thought sent into the universe is a step towards weaving my reality with purpose. With each gentle ripple of the brook, I understood that my inquiries about collective action needed to be articulated further. What if the multitude of dreams, like many dragonflies, fluttered together, creating a kaleidoscope of energy, rich in potential and vibrancy? Could I create a space for conversations to arise among those in my life, inviting them to express their visions openly without judgment? The thought ignited a spark within me, igniting excitement and purpose. Yet, the shadow of doubt still loomed. Would others feel safe enough to share their truths? Would fear stifle the symphony I longed to orchestrate? As I rose from the brook, energized by this interplay of nature and wisdom, a small feather floated down, landing softly at my feet. An unexpected gift of the universe, it whispered secrets of lightness and freedom. I picked it up, feeling the softness between my fingers, and understood once more the delicate balance between connection and individuality. How might I find the courage to forge an inviting space for vulnerability within my community? How could I transcend my fears and align with others to dance this quantum dance of manifestation? These questions swirled within me, urging to be embraced, welcoming the uncertainty that lay ahead. As I headed back toward the meadow, I felt the pull of destiny, the promise of untamed possibility guiding my steps. Adventure awaited, intricately woven with the tapestry of shared dreams, and every unanswered question glimmered like stars in the vast expanse of the cosmic sky above me. The meadow unfolded before me like an ocean of green, thistles and wildflowers dancing in the gentle breeze. Each step felt like a commitment to the untold paths ahead, and as I approached the stone circle once more, I noticed that its aura pulsed with a different intensity. The stones appeared to resonate not only with my heartbeat but also with the very heartbeat of the earth itself. As I stepped inside the circle, a soft humming vibrated through my core, as if the ground beneath me was whispering forgotten tales. I closed my eyes, allowing the sound to envelop me, and with every breath, I sank deeper into a state of openness. What truths were waiting for me to uncover? In that quiet space, I found myself facing an unexpected encounter. A figure emerged from the shadows of the grove, a woman adorned in flowing garments that rippled with stars, her hair cascading like a waterfall of silver light. Her eyes seemed to hold the reflection of every person I had ever known and loved. "You are not alone in your quest, seeker," she spoke, her voice weaving effortlessly through the air. "We are part of a web, each of us a thread in a greater tapestry." Her presence stirred a familiar energy within me, one that resonated with my longing for connection. "What is this web you speak of?" I asked, my own curiosity weaving into the fabric of her words. "Each thought, each dream, strengthens the threads," she replied, lifting a finger to the skies where constellations twinkled in answer. "Your journey is not just yours, it is entwined with the dreams of others. In vulnerability, there is a calling to unite in resonance." The weight of her message paused my thoughts. I thought of the dragonfly, of metaphorical dance, the series of gestures that interconnected all beings. But how can I cultivate that unity? I queried, a whirlwind of questions swirling in my mind. How can I shine a light on the dreams that lie hidden in the shadows? The woman smiled knowingly, and with a gesture, she beckoned toward the trees, where a circle of shimmering light had begun to form. I stepped closer, captivated by its inviting glow. Create circles of sharing, tender spaces where hearts can unfold. In this sanctuary, fears can dissipate, making way for collective dreams to emerge. As the light intensified, I could feel my own doubts rising, mixing with the energy around me. The air crackled with excitement and apprehension, and I wondered if I had the courage to initiate such spaces. Would people embrace vulnerability, as the dragonfly did? Could my own heart stand as a beacon for others to follow? Emerge from the cocoon of hesitation, she encouraged gently. Trust the universe, for it responds to boldness. Every vulnerable interaction is a spark that can ignite a flame leading to a constellation of potential. Her words resonated deeply. My earlier reflection upon the multitude of dreams rekindled within me. Each individual carries a unique melody, waiting for the right moment to harmonize into a collective song. But how do I begin? I whispered, feeling the weight of potential pressing against me. Start small, she instructed, her voice soothing, as if wrapped in the embrace of the cosmos. Gather those within reach, friends, family, even strangers. Encourage them to share their flights and fears. Remind them of their sacred place in the web. As she spoke, the meadow around us seemed to pulse with vibrant energy, amplifying her message and imbibing me with an electric feeling. I sensed the interconnectedness of all things: the water in the brook, the fluttering dragonfly, the whispers of the stone circle. Everything I had experienced thus far was a prelude to this unfolding chapter of my journey, yet, as I stood there, a flicker of doubt crept in. What if my attempts fell flat? What if fear choked the life out of what was meant to flourish? My heart wavered, a pendulum swinging between courage and uncertainty. Before I could voice these worries, the figure slipped through the ethereal light, fusing with it until she became nothing but a memory of shimmering wisdom. Her final words echoed in the air: everything you seek resides within you. The universe reflects your intentions, trust in the flow. Alone with my thoughts, I took several deep breaths, filling my lungs with the essence of possibility. The ground beneath me thrummed with encouragement, urging me to step forward into the uncharted terrain of my dreams. Resolutions bubbled within, yet questions lingered and danced like fireflies at dusk. How could I nurture the interconnectedness of our stories? What collective symphony awaited if I embraced that vulnerability? As the sun dipped toward the horizon, painting the sky in hues of gold and indigo, I felt poised at the brink of transformation. Destiny breathed beside me, an encouraging breath that promised adventure and connection. Once again, I sensed the spiraling force of manifestation, hinting at the secrets yet to unfold. What awaited just beyond the edge of my comfort zone? What wonders coiled in the depths of collaboration and shared dreams? The answers shimmered like stars, waiting for the night to unfurl its profound mysteries. The evening sun melted into the horizon, casting long shadows that stretched toward the depths of the meadow. I stood at the edge of the stone circle, my heart still echoing the wisdom imparted to me. As the last rays of light dipped below the trees, I felt an insistent pull, a calling that came from within, urging me to discover what lay beyond the familiar. With a deep breath, I stepped outside the circle, feeling the earth beneath my feet shift as if inviting me to venture deeper into the woods. Shadows danced playfully around me, creating an enchanting tapestry of light and dark. The air was filled with the scent of damp earth and the rustle of leaves, creating a symphony that urged me to keep moving. That I wandered through the grove, drawn by an unexplainable force, until I stumbled upon a clearing bathed in silvery moonlight. At its heart lay a pool of water, its surface perfectly still, mirroring the celestial dance above. Approaching the edge, I knelt to look closer. The water shimmered, offering a glimpse not just into the night sky but reflections of my own inner landscape. Diving deeper into contemplation, I noticed shapes shifting within the water, visions and images that whispered fragments of my dreams. I leaned closer, entranced by the serene surface. Faces of people I had known flowed in and out, their emotions swirling around me like echoes. Each face sparked memories, some ecstatic, others painful, and suddenly, I was reminded of the comfort and burden of connection. Who are you seeking, seeker? A voice asked, breaking the poignant trance. I looked up to find an elderly man standing at the edge of the clearing, his presence imposing yet warm. He was draped in a robe that shimmered with fragmented reflections, as though he were a tapestry of countless stories. What wisdom do you wish to uncover tonight? I found my voice, trembling slightly with vulnerability. I wish to understand how I can nurture unity in the web of existence. The woman spoke of initiating circles of sharing, but I fear my heart may falter in this pursuit. That he moved closer, kneeling beside the pool and gesturing for me to do the same. Fear is the shadow of possibility. It whispers caution in the face of the unknown, but it is also a guide if you let it. His eyes, deep and penetrating, seem to encourage me to look beyond the surface. When we share our fears, we begin to weave with the threads of understanding, turning hesitation into a mosaic of shared experience, he continued, his voice a gentle murmur. Look into the water. What do you see? I gazed intently, and the reflections shifted once more, showing me gatherings of laughter, moments of sorrow turned into solace, and shared journeys enhanced by vulnerability. I see connections and stories intertwining, I replied, still slightly unsure, precisely. His smile ignited a flicker of hope within me. The missing element is not technique but authenticity. Be courageous and embrace your own truth. It is in the honesty of your journey that others will find a beacon. Each circle you create will be a crucible of healing, a space where the hidden flame of truth can shine. As his words sank in, I felt a surge of determination unfurling like wings nestled within my spirit. But how do I begin? What if the stories shared are too dark, too heavy? His gaze softened. Everything has its place in the story. The beauty of vulnerability is that it allows the shadows to become light. By sharing, we lift the burdens together. Consider how many burdens have been placed on the hearts of others. When one person speaks, it encourages the next to follow. This is the alchemy of connection. That I could feel his wisdom resonating deep inside me, unraveling the tapestry of doubts I had woven around my aspirations. So, the act of sharing is the key to understanding? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. He nodded. Indeed. Like the moon reflects the sun's light, your authenticity will illuminate the paths of others. Let your voice blend into the symphony of dreams, and watch them flourish. You will find that in your willingness to speak, you also give others permission to be seen. Understanding began to crystallize in my mind, yet a lingering question made its presence known. How could one fractured light, like mine, connect and radiate a full spectrum of understanding? Embrace your questions, dear seeker, he advised, as though sensing the stirrings within me. In their shadows lies the greatest wisdom. Never dismiss them. Each question is a gesture towards the unknown, an invitation to inquiry. With that, the elderly figure rose to his feet, the silver robe shimmering in the moonlight as he stepped back into the shadows of the trees. His presence was both grounding and freeing. I was left alone once more at the edge of the pool, its surface reflecting an ever-changing constellation of possibilities. The moon now shone bright in the sky, illuminating the way forward. As I stood in that clearing, I felt a profound sense of interconnectedness with everything around me, earth pulsating beneath my feet, the trees whispering secrets, and the stars beckoning over me. I was part of something greater, and I held the potential to weave threads of unity. What stories awaited sharing, and how many hearts could be touched by the simplicity of honesty? Would my voice carry through the fabric of dreams, igniting sparks of connection among those who yearned to be seen? These questions lingered as I made my way back through the woods, guided by the light of the moon and my burgeoning vision of a shared journey yet to unfold. The night deepened, wrapping me in a blanket of stillness as I returned to the meadow, my heart beating with a newfound rhythm. The whispers of the universe composed an intricate melody, inviting me into communion not only with those I knew but with the collective spirit of existence itself. I could feel the energy surging within me as if every lesson learned had been a thread woven into the rich tapestry of my being. As I stepped back into the field where the stones stood, the air shimmered and swirled, carrying the essence of the stories I had encountered. The moonlight cast a silver glow over the stones, illuminating each one as if they were guardians of wisdom, waiting to share their secrets once more. I felt an invitation, a beckoning to amplify the lessons I had learned, to embrace my role as both seeker and guide. The figure in the robe had spoken of authenticity and connection, and the words reverberated through me like a sacred mantra. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath, channeling the essence of the dragonfly, whose very life danced in the light of vulnerability and metamorphosis. In that moment, I understood that the act of sharing is not just about giving voice to one's truth, it is about creating a sacred space for others to come forth, to unearth the stories that shape us all. With conviction surging within, I began to speak into the stillness. I am learning the power of unity, and I invite each of you, those who resonate with these words, to step forth. Let us weave our dreams, our fears, and our hopes into the fabric of a shared reality. The echoes of my voice rippled through the meadow, intertwining with the cool night air. As if in response, a soft glow surrounded the stones, pulsing rhythmically as though they were alive. It felt as if they were amplifying my call, inviting beings, seen and unseen, to gather around. I stood still, embracing the silence, breathing in the beauty of this moment, a moment of possibility. Then, as if the universe were answering the silent questions of my heart, figures began to emerge from the shadows. Faces familiar and foreign appeared, souls drawn by the resonance of authenticity. They approached, eyes wide with curiosity, mirroring the deep-seated desire for connection that flows through each of us like a river wishing to meet the sea. With each introduction, each word exchanged, something profound ignited in our gathering. Stories flowed, unfiltered and raw, as hearts opened up. We shared our laughter, our struggles, our triumphs and hardships, each revelation adding another layer to the tapestry we were weaving. In the act of sharing, we transcended our individual narratives, merging into a collective dance that pulsed with the electricity of renewed understanding. That I made eye contact with each person gathered, feeling the warmth of their spirits shining forth. In honor of their bravery, I stepped back, letting their voices rise like a choir, a symphony of hearts emerging from the silence. The fears I'd harbored about initiating this shared space melted away, replaced by an overwhelming sense of belonging. It was then that I experienced the quintessential truth: in vulnerability, we find our strength. The moon watched over us, its radiance illuminating the shadows of doubt as we shared stories of dreams abandoned and the courage found in surrendering to life's currents. Each voice became a thread stitched into the growing fabric of our collective dreams, entangled yet beautifully distinct, a reminder that isolation is a fracture, but unity is a masterpiece. With every story shared, I felt the energy within us multiply. We formed a tapestry not merely of individual aspirations but of a collective vision that held space for each light to shine, for every heart to beat with promise and potential. As the night wore on, laughter mingled with tears, weaving threads of healing throughout our assembly. In those moments, I felt the grand tapestry of life stretching before me, a kaleidoscope of potential longing to be realized. That I, in that sacred circle, I discovered a profound truth that echoed within me, reverberating through the night sky like a starburst. manifestation does not only come from solitary efforts but from the hearts brave enough to share their light with others. The energetic dance of creation, I realized, flourishes when we co-create with intention. As we stood around the stones, a profound peace settled over the gathering, stitching us together in a way that transcended our individual experiences. I invited us to close our eyes and envision the dreams we wished to manifest together. We saw communities forged in love, art bursting forth from collaboration, innovative solutions to challenges that arise from collective understanding, and networks built on both vulnerability and strength. With every shared breath, we felt the energetic flow of our intentions entwining, manifesting a vision that was colorful and vibrant, radiant with the promise of unity. For in that circle, we were no longer mere individuals, we were parts of a living tapestry, a grand narrative bursting forth with potential, alive with the promise of transformation. As I stood among them, a gentle smile gracing my lips, I recognized the profound awakening this gathering represented. The boundaries of our perceptions began to dissolve like morning mist, and in their wake, we emerged as vessels of manifestation. In the quiet stillness of the night, I spoke the words that would mark the conclusion of this chapter of unveiling and the beginning of a new journey of intentional creation. Together, we align our energies, breathe life into our deepest dreams, and trust in the powerful current of the universe that unites us all. As stars winked down, illuminating our circle, a palpable energy surged within us. We were ready to unleash the potential that dwelled in the dance of our co-created destinies. And with that, I understood deeply the truth that had begun this journey: we are never alone, for in the tapestry of existence, every strand matters. As dawn approached, I surrendered to the soft embrace of possibility. In unity, we would harness the hidden power of quantum manifestation, revitalizing our energetic flow into a reality that reflects the truth of who we are and the dreams we are ready to claim. And in that moment, on the edge of awakening, one last, powerful truth surged through me: together, we are the architects of our destiny, luminous beings forever intertwined, manifesting a reality that breathes life into love, connection, and infinite potential.